Hello, and welcome to the Run Amok Podcast.
To behave or run around in a wild, unruly, out of control manner.
Run amok! Run amok! He has been following bamboozled, led astray, and flat out deceived. Run amok! Run amok! Run amok! Run amok!
Hello and welcome to the Run Amok Podcast, home of the best Bachelorette recaps on this side of New Mexico. As always, I'm your host, David Stahl, and I'm joined alongside me, as always, by my loyal compadres, Carson Cooper and producer Gary. How's it going, guys?
Fantastic.
It is spectacular to be here. We witnessed, I don't know, I was going to throw an adjective in there. Let's wait and see. We witnessed a Mentel-all. That we know.
We watched the show.
We know. We did watch a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Did it feel like 4 hours? Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
Were there a cast of characters that I am likely going to forget a week from now? There were indeed. However, we couldn't be more invested in this season. Still, despite a little bit of a snooze fest last night, we're looking forward to the season finale. We're going to recap all the drama from last night. But first things first, I told you guys I had a little unboxing for you, a little exclusive unboxing for our viewers. And to any of our listeners, you can hop on our YouTube and see what we're about to talk about. So here's the box I showed to Carson and Gary.
Nondescript white box.
Nondescript white box. I'm going to flip it over. You're going to see a set of, it's a glasses box. And so
computer glasses. Is that what that says?
They're a new set of blue light glasses. I love wearing. So I've had these for a long time. They're just classic black wire frames. Carson, you've got a really nice, tasteful, minimalist pair as well.
Thank you.
Right? Nice and simple. They go with everything. However, I don't know what happened. Maybe these were in like a pocket or something. They got a little bit. That's the thing with wire glasses, is they got a bit wonky. I've only had one other set of wire glasses. They were sunglasses. They were very expensive, and they broke because I was at a music festival, and at 9 a.m, a friend of ours put a plastic bag over my head and tried to suffocate me, and they broke. These ones, it was a bit more subtle of a break. I don't know what happened, but they were done. So anyways, I was so satisfied with them that I went on Amazon and I just clicked reorder. Simple as that. Just run it back. Amazon, whatever I had before, I want another pair. They were spectacular. And longtime listeners of this podcast will know that me and Jeff at Amazon.com have a bit of a beef. And I want to say, and Carson, I was worried that you'd know where this is going already, because I wrote about it on my running blog this morning, because I was shocked and appalled at the Amazon service I received today. In the past, I get emails like I'll order something like 4 phone chargers, the simplest thing in the world, and I'll wait 3 weeks, and then they'll say, "Nope, sorry,
not coming, not in stock.
We don't have any." Really, dude? You have no phone chargers in the Amazon warehouse? You can't scrounge around in the back room or something? Nope.
Check some drawers, some closets.
None. Sorry, fresh out of all phone chargers. Oh, sorry. You needed plastic cups? Nope. None available, and they'll just send me a refund. Now, Jeff took it a step further. I get the package, and it comes with this glasses case, which is different than the one I received last time. So I thought, oh, maybe just a bit of an upgrade. It's been a little while. Then I opened them up, and this is not what I ordered. Jeff,
they're different frames.
Oh, they're very different.
They're different glasses altogether.
I look like Diplo.
Whoa!
I look like off-brand Diplo. You know that meme when they're like, "Hey, Mom, can we get Diplo from the grocery store?" You know, no, we have Diplo at home, and I'm at home. This is me at home. And you can't really see that one, but they have a gold. The worst part is that there's gold here.
You know what? So I couldn't see the gold. They're not an awful look.
That's what I'm saying.
They're not awful. But if I saw the gold in person, I'd probably say a little too Martin Garrix for me.
I'd probably punch you in the face.
I don't think it works on me. And I'm someone, I think I work in a lot of different aesthetics. I don't think I work in these puppies. I don't think it's work. So
the more I see you in them, the worse they get. Like they're already bad.
And it's tough. They do transition seamlessly from like the dude who's gonna slip something in your drink at the bar to your grandma, which
I thought you meant
line to toe.
they're quite literally transitions. Like they transition from light to dark.
They transition from grandma to date rape drugger. Yeah. So which is not neither are good or strong looks for me.
And neither are you.
Particularly as a guy who likes to grow a mustache. You can't. So
That's fair.
Jeff, dude, I don't know, like, figure it out, dude.
What did
I
you
just
do
want...
to Jeff, man? I've never had a
I
problem
don't
with
know what I
Amazon
did to Jeff. I
once.
was liking some funny tweets about his spaceship being shaped like a penis. I think that may have tipped him off.
But this is a long-standing issue.
This is long-standing. I don't know what the beef is. You know, he's going through some emotional baggage. He's going through a divorce right now. He's maybe trying to find love. I don't know. I don't know. But so I think let's take a poll. It's not working. They're not working.
Oh no,
no chance.
No, they got to go back.
I've already hit the refund, but now I got to go through people don't care. I got to mail them back. It's a whole headache.
Yeah, like we've all been there, dude.
This is not, yeah, I understand, but this is not my first rodeo. Anyways, okay, people could not care less. We didn't tune in for Glasses Hour with the random dude who we're listening to.
Well, they should have expected that since it was Mentel all week. I mean,
Mentel all week.
Right?
It deserves to go a bit off the rails. But that being said, let's jump in, guys. You ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
Ready to do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so we start off with, first of all, I want to say this. What a weird format. Right, because we start off with saying bye to Michael, and then we jump into like an hour and a half of Mentel. I don't really know if we've seen this before. Do you?
No, I don't recall that. And I was thinking about that last night, and I think the only reason is because they had to give some sort of an explanation of why
he was there.
Why he wasn't going to be at hometowns for next week. But a strange format for sure.
Let me say this for any new listeners: we also draft 3 people each at the beginning of each season. And so each of us has 3 draft picks, and I went back in the archives today and I got each of ours. So I will reveal those at the end of this episode, right before we do Rose and Thorn, because we are in very interesting positions.
Well,
right
I know
now.
one of mine was Michael. Was
Michael. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That was your first pick, and a fantastic pick. But let's talk about Michael's exit. It felt inevitable since last episode. And in fact, when I went back and listened, Gary, I don't know if you remember this, but episode 3, you called that he was going to leave on his own volition. You said, I think Michael A is going to leave. Yet you got to go for it. It was right after his one-on-one when we drafted him. So a fair pick. But
it's the backstory, man. He was like, it was inevitable. He was going to get cold feet. Even if he made it to the end, it wasn't going to happen.
I think the backstory, and plus we were talking about this during the draft in episode 3 as well. Everything just seemed too perfect. Like they were showing so much, and it just seemed to me like, oh, this guy's a clear winner. Like why this is not even a competition anymore? And I think we were just showing a little too much of perfection, which obviously indicates it's not going to work out.
You're reading the edit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was shocked. We get the classic. We've seen it all season. We get the line from his son. I wrote down here, Daddy doesn't want to see me. I was shocked that it actually wasn't savagely edited out of context. No. Because that would be a classic Bachelor move of like, oh, make us think that James hates his dad.
Yeah.
But no, his son really drops that big time guilt.
His son genuinely believed that.
Yeah. His son genuinely believes that his dad doesn't like him very much. No, he obviously doesn't believe that. And I'm going to get into that. We'll get into it. I know hot takes regarding James. I just want to discuss that a little further.
Regarding James.
The kid.
Yeah,
the contestant.
No, not the grown man. It was going to be, look, there's going to be some tough love towards James. It's time to go. Hey, you're a TV personality, buddy. It's time to grow up real quick. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to be hitting him with kids clubs, but we'll be critiquing him a bit. That being said, we get another beautiful line from Michael A. Saying, I'm leaving because a beautiful boy needs his dad. Oh boy, that hit me real hard. A beautiful boy does need his dad indeed. And he's the owner of this, like, 2 most beautiful lines of the season. The first one, of course, what a beautiful thing to fall in love twice. So it was something along those lines.
Absolutely. And you know what? I was reflecting on this while he was on the hot seat last night. And he is one of the most well-spoken contestants I think we've ever had. Like, and obviously he's a very mature individual because he does have a child. He's the oldest one on the show this season. But it's just every word comes out so thoughtful and meaningful and purposeful. He doesn't just throw filler in there. It's
Never.
honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. Again, this is the second time this season it brought a tear to my eye last night.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. Yeah. But I will say, and it brought a tear to Katie's eye too, man, because when she opened the door, she was so happy to see him, right? It was a complete blindside.
Mhm.
And she was wildly confident. She said after, it's very possible that my person just left. She had him pretty much locked in to top
To
two,
win it.
which
Yeah.
makes you think like, okay, well, Justin, obviously it's not you. So which of the other two had she in her mind? Or maybe she didn't know. Maybe it was a toss-up, but it seemed like Michael A was
a lock
locked
to
into
be
that
there.
position. All I'll say is, look, as much as Katie said, like, I'm ready to dive in right now to being a mom. And I'm not doubting that she is. That's just a very heavy, like, does she want to move to Ohio? Like, I just don't see like the lifestyles I am. So I'm glad that he was the one to break up with her rather than the alternative, because America would have come for her head.
For sure. She's been saying that, and she worded it perfectly last week too. He even said that all the words that came out of Katie's mouth were perfect and exactly what I wanted to hear. But Michael knows what that entails, like what it entails to be the mother for his child, right?
Yeah.
And as much as Katie will say, and probably believe and wholeheartedly believe that she can be such a great mother and fit for their lives, ultimately that is Michael's call at the end of the day. So like you said, I am glad that it went that way instead of him getting his heart broken.
I totally agree. And okay, I think it's time to jump into
you're smirking over there. I knew Jay's about to be put on blast.
Well, okay, because I got a couple. So I'm seeing some people on Twitter, first of all, say that James had a little plant in his ear and that he was told to say that from a producer.
I wouldn't put it past him. I'm not like,
what do you think? Look, that's not my theory. I just want us to put some percentage odds on the fact that James may be a producer plant.
Yo, it's 2021. They could have deep faked that whole FaceTime. Like, it could have been completely fabricated.
I'm gonna put a 5% chance that James has been switched over.
He's been compromised.
I think there's a 5% chance that James is morally compromised. No, but I do want to say, no one guilt trips like a kid. Kids know what a guilt trip. But come on, dude, that's like. I don't want to throw around the word manipulative, but you know your dad loves you. Okay, you guys are out. You guys do.
Obviously, I'm out. Dude, the kid's 10 years old. His mom died 2 years ago, and his dad's now away for
I forgot it was that quick. Yeah,
an extended period of time, and he's probably living with Graham and Gramps.
No, manipulative is too far. Manipulative is too far. All I'm saying is there was a guilt trip, 1,000% a guilt trip.
100%.
And you know what?
But you made it sound worse than it is, for sure.
Okay,
for sure. But every other
Come on the pod,
sentiment
James.
out of a child's mouth to their parents
up.
is a guilt trip.
Come on the
right?
pod.
Like everything kids say to their parents are guilt trips to
at the end of the day, yeah, they're trying to.
At the end of the day,
come on, tell us what was going through your head. No producer. I don't want no PR people emailing me telling me what questions I can't ask. I want a raw interview, James. It's Barbara Walters style. We're gonna get down to it. I swear to God. But that being said, it reminded me of a little quick anecdote here. I remember when I was like 5 years old, I just did some stupid kid shit. And genuinely, I asked my mom, like, do you still love me? And it just like melted her heart. She's like, oh my God, like, of course I still love you. Like, oh, it's okay. And it completely kind of healed the situation. And so I tried it when I remembered how well it worked. And so I did some stupid shit when I was like 11 or 12, less cute.
Yeah.
Years later, and I remember this worked. This is gonna get me out of it. And so I said, "Do you still love me,
dude?"
She tore me a new one. She saw right past it, and she was like, "How dare you use my love as a bargaining chip to like get out of trouble right now?" Like, saw right through me. And I remember being like, "Oh shit!" That was the moment where I realized, like, "Oh, moms are 4,000 times smarter than everyone else on the planet." I just got dunked on.
Just going off of like your first point there, where you said how well that worked. Like, I don't think we, at this point of our lives, anyways, would ever understand how powerful your child's guilt trip would be, right? And I was thinking last
Yes.
night when I was watching, I was thinking, hometowns are coming up. Like he's gonna see him soon, anyways. But obviously, you don't really take into account, he could be the last of the hometowns, and it could be like a week before he sees it. Yada yada. Obviously, some things in between.
Well, he wasn't coming to hometowns though.
What's that?
James wasn't coming to hometowns either.
Yeah, but when would he still be able to see?
No, they weren't going to see him in person until the show was over.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, I didn't know that.
He wasn't going to be a part of it at all. Yeah. So
all right. Well, in that case, then,
look,
yeah.
Michael, I totally understand, and James too. I'm mostly joking. It was just like very clearly like, oh, you know how to get your dad back home, which is like, hey, that's great. Good for him. A boy does need his son in all seriousness. So that was really touching and sad to see Michael A go. But I get it. So let's jump in, and we'll come back to Michael A with his little interaction with Katie. But let's jump into the men tell all. Man, I don't know. Like, let's go through it chronologically. This was just kind of a snooze fest beginning to end. I will say, shout out to Caitlin and Tayshia. This was kind of their first big, huge hosting debut. I thought they killed it. How about you guys?
I thought they were the most interesting part of the whole thing, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, fair enough. How about you, Coop? You liked it.
For sure. Like, definitely the most interesting part, because the banter between the guys I ran through that real quick. Like, it got old real quick.
Banter is very generous to call what they that back and forth between them.
Like, it was kind of just embarrassing.
Like, if a good banter is a couple of sharpshooters, these two were like drunken hillbillies with paintball guns shooting at the side of a barn. There was zero precision on these attacks. And so let's jump into the first sort of level of banter between Karl and Brendan. Karl, who very unsuccessfully tried to take over the amphitheater as an inspirational speaker. Holy smokes, that was awkward. He's standing up, everyone besides
nobody's on his side at all.
Yeah, he needed Justin there.
He's like, can I acknowledge that I've made a mistake? Has anybody else ever made a mistake? And he puts his hand up like to get people in the crowd to raise their hands also.
Who can relate? What a loser, man. I hate Karl. Like,
so do I.
First of all, though, we called it. We knew Karl was going to take credit for Thomas's exit. It worked out too perfectly for him. Devastating to see. In terms of snappy comebacks, though, he was leaving some low-hanging fruit for Brendan, and Brendan just a swing and a miss time and again. As far as snappy comebacks, he did not do a great job as representing us Canadians. But
no, he was still confused on how he made it so far in the show.
Yeah, his head was still spinning. Well, man, when Karl and him stood up and got like kind of close together, I think Brendan was begging for a fight. He's like, God, this is what I need to win this right now. I need this to get physical real quick because words are not coming to my mouth. It was weird. I was surprised it didn't, like, I don't know how you get that close to a man's face in a confrontational situation and at least not
shove him.
Yeah,
like, it was very clear that Tayshia and Caitlin were nervous about that, but were you surprised it didn't escalate?
Even when the two of them stood up and then Trey stood up in between them.
Yeah.
Karl then walks around Trey and gets right in.
Yeah, Trey, I wouldn't call you the most intimidating bouncer in the
world.
For
sure, but I mean, the fact that he was trying to close that gap between the two guys, I thought it was going to definitely end in some sort of shoving.
Yeah, Karl, that's not your move, man. If you're Karl, you want to be asking people to hold you back. You want to pull out one of those, hold me back, bro. You want as many people holding you back as possible, shielding you from Brendan. But
they saw all his shadow boxing. They're like, this guy can't throw a punch, so whatever. Leave him to his devices.
And Brendan, like, very clearly one of the guys who's like, okay, I'm going to make a name for myself. He came in thinking I'm going to make a splash. And there's always one every season, a relevant dude who comes in. No shade to him, whatever, get your screen time. But I don't know. I thought it was very clear that his...
for sure. I think it was a feeling of self-realization where he thought, wow, I made it this far in the show and no one knows who I am. So I gotta somehow, build up a platform on this stage, I guess.
Totally. And I mean, he was on Mike Johnson's podcast. He was on a couple of, so I mean, sure. Mission accomplished, I guess. I mean, I don't really look at him better. I don't think he's all that. No offense. Like, I just don't think he's entertaining on TV. Like, I don't need more Brendan, right? And that's the big thing you want to get out of is like, oh shit, I need more of that guy. Like, I left being like, oh, he's a cornball. but I kind of need more Connor B a little bit, or I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I don't need more Brendan. He offered nothing. But real quick, I guess we'll look at his fellow mean girl. I thought I saw a lot of people like putting the parallel of James, Aaron, and Brendan right next to the mean girls, like Regina George. I don't know who's Regina George out of Brendan, James, and Aaron. I think it's
Aaron.
got to be Aaron,
Aaron,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
I don't think you can make an argument for the other two at all.
Well, James, you have the aesthetic factor of like, oh,
Yeah.
he looks the best by far, and he's got his two goons with him. But I think it's got to be Aaron.
But Aaron's the
most
leader. Aaron is
main
the
character syndrome.
Yeah.
What I will say, he says bro a lot. But that being said, I'm surprised we haven't gotten feedback on our show. No one's complained about how much I say specifically, and I'd say we say as a group, dude. A lot of dudes throwing about.
Dude.
He starts every sentence with a bro. However, he is electric. He can command
Absolutely.
a room.
And Brendan fits into every sentence fake news. So that was
way too, dude. Oh my god. He was like, this sounds kind of smart. Sounds
kind of relevant to today.
Fake news. That was topical like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Like I mean, this
somewhere in the
witty
last
is not
4
how I would
years.
describe Brendan. If you gave me a couple words, I would describe him as big and hair. I think those
and those are not mutually exclusive.
not mutually exclusive. If you asked me for a third, I think I'd go back to either hair or big. I don't know if I'd come up with a third. Aaron, though, look, if anyone's went on a date with Aaron, let me know if I'm right or wrong, but I would guarantee you, any girl that he's gone out on a date with, he has interrupted the entire time. Like, he asked them about their work. He goes, oh, no, bro, whoa, one sec, though. I got a funny story. But, like, this dude loves the sound of his own voice. But how'd you feel? Let's skip ahead real quick, just because we're on the topic. How'd you feel about Katie mixing up his name with Thomas?
Oh, hilarious.
Such a slap in
hilarious.
the face.
And I loved
a
it because
slap.
it was his nemesis, too, which he actually says. Like,
Yeah.
that's my
arch nemesis, bro. Bro,
I loved
be my
it.
fiance.
Yeah.
It's no fun. And also, like, because he definitely views himself as Katie's bodyguard, and she probably does, but it was very clear of like, look, she doesn't think you're Thomas, but she also doesn't really think you're that. Like, she really didn't have that name cemented in her mind.
For sure. And I mean, the fact that you probably mentioned, Thomas more than any other topic to her, I mean, that's probably going to get confused quite easily.
Hold on, are
You did
you
it to
Thomas
yourself.
or do you hate Thomas? I can't really tell.
Yeah. Oh man, and we'll get into our slight Thomas. We'll get into our slight Thomas cameo in a sec. But let's talk about Hunter real quick because we had a little bit of, first of all, new haircut for Hunter.
Yeah.
Very bad.
Big down, yeah, big downgrade.
But what can you do?
What can you do? I was
Right?
wondering because his first one was very diagonal.
Yeah.
And his current one is very like he just said flat and straight across.
Yeah. Give me the nav.
With a bit of
Yeah. Line me up.
Line me up, bro.
he's got a bit of a fade going on. It looks not great, but different.
Yeah.
So that's congratulations. That was a really weird haircut choice. That really threw me off. But otherwise, he I don't know. I actually thought he came across as one of the more mature guys at the reunion. Look, I definitely don't think I'm going to lock this in for me personally. You can disagree. I don't think he was there for the wrong reasons. I think he was just too strategic about how he wanted to go after Katie's affections. Like that's always weird. It's a red flag to me. And I think he just got caught up in a few stupid lies too. I mean, Coop and I always say it. If you lie or get caught, just admit it and rip the Band-Aid off because it only gets worse. And he did admit it. He was like, yeah, I could have been more honest. I could have worded things the right way, but I didn't. And everyone there kind of went silent. Like, fair enough. What do we say to that? Yeah. I don't know. What were your thoughts? Because I don't think we're going to see Hunter again. I can't remember if he's in Paradise. I don't think he is.
I don't think he
maybe
is.
he shows up later in the season, but I don't know. What were your thoughts on our potential goodbye to Hunter?
I like you said, I was actually really impressed with him overall. He didn't come out like guns a-blazing trying to defend himself or trying to make a name for himself. He kind of like just laid low, and obviously some attention came to him. He didn't bring it upon himself during the tell-all. And he kind of owned up to his mistake. And like you said too, I never thought that Hunter was there for the wrong reasons. Like
we never said that.
No, we never said that. We said that he, like you said, was very strategic, manipulative in some ways. But when they're saying stuff like, you're kind of your Thomas 1.5. Like that was
Yeah.
just like that didn't make any sense to me because I never thought he was not there for Katie. Like I thought he was
Yeah.
always had Katie's interest at heart.
And again, it comes down to the edits a bit, right?
Sure.
Because it's like Aaron was saying, hey, I was just sought out as the sheriff. That's not who I was. I think James said the same thing, or maybe Brendan did. But one of those two guys were saying, like, yeah, I know I got the edit like that. So maybe it wasn't the dynamic. But I think, unfortunately, Karl actually spoke some truth when he was like, yeah, when I left, it's after the next guy and after the next guy.
Sure.
That's what it was. And so they were definitely looking for the next Thomas. I don't think Hunter was that.
For sure. There were clear guys, I think, up until Hunter. I mean, Karl obviously was the enemy number one. He was gone. Scumbag. Yep. Thomas, scumbag,
Sure.
gone. And then Hunter kind of unfortunately got caught up in some lies that, he readily committed. And I think I kind of got unfortunately, looped into that that I don't know, what do you want to call it, paddy wagon of guys.
But that is a fantastic phrase, a classic paddy wagon of guys. And I don't know if that's actually a thing. Someone Google paddy wagon of guys, but
I probably don't want to Google that.
It's in podcast. It's in the lexicon now, locked in. I also loved Connor B absolutely alphaing James.
Oh,
dear Lord.
That was
and
awesome.
I'm a James defender, but dude, James goes, that's just my opinion. And Connor goes, yeah, well, it's wrong. And I love that.
Because Connor did say, I was actually roommates with Hunter, and I can tell you that there was not a single time where I doubted that he was here for Katie.
For reasons, he clearly really liked her.
I never saw that side of the argument at all.
People can be nuanced. Like, not everything is black and white.
Yeah.
Not everyone is either a hero or a villain. Most of you got like we said before. And Trey was like, oh, no one else besides Thomas was here to boost their social platform. You can be there for both. You can be interested in a girl and be like, well, if it doesn't work out,
at the very least,
this is a cool experience to like build a following or get a new life or to whatever. Like,
sure.
People are complicated, and Hunter is one of those people. So okay, let's jump into Connor B. Holy smokes! So we basically I feel like we see his whole, I guess, like rundown of his breakup. Very tough to watch. He's having to watch himself say, how bad of a kisser am I? Like, very painful to watch. And then we get the girl coming in, which I have some fascinating intel about that.
I figured you would.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So give me your thoughts on the whole situation. Did you like it? Was it romantic? What final thoughts on Connor B?
I mean, purely because the whole thing was a snooze fest, I guess I'll say I like it. I liked it because it was some sort of excitement, something off the beaten path.
Yeah.
Was she a plant? And this is probably what you have the information for. I think she was planted there. I think she was compromised.
I think so.
I even thought at one point, is this his current girlfriend? And they just stuck in the crowd? I didn't know. So
well,
anyway,
she would have had to have a mic on, no?
Well, that's the thing.
Exactly.
Like,
first of all,
kind of have to be planted.
So here's some insight. She happens to have a song coming out today.
Of course.
A musician. And first of all, her cue was very quick, right? Like they mentioned Connor B is like, not that bad a kisser, and she stood up immediately, like very quick cue, no, not hesitant. And you just said it, Gary. She was mic'd up.
Yeah.
Like, she was said that you wouldn't get it that clear with a boom mic. You didn't see any boom mics around her as she was talking. But Bachelor.scoop on Instagram, and if people don't know, I have a burner account called Matt James's Burner, and this is and Bachelor Nation. No, it's BachelorNation.scoop. If you want some tip, I think they do post spoilers that I have to avoid, but they post some incredible insight, and they posted a central casting advertisement for this role. Dude, it was public. Do you want me to read it for you? Because it is incredible.
Let's hear it.
Hello, production is looking for a couple women who may be comfortable to speak on the show. The scenario would be as follows. One of the guy cast members was accused of being a bad kisser on the show. At the end of a segment with him, a young, attractive woman, possibly you, which I love, from the audience would stand up and say something to the effect of, quote, I saw you're kissing on the show. I think you're very cute, and I know that you're not that bad of a kisser. I'd love to put that theory to the test right now. This woman would either then come down onto the stage to kiss the guy, or he would respectfully decline and perhaps accept a hug instead. Would you be comfortable possibly doing this? So the quote that we hear is almost exactly what
Like
Central
verbatim.
Casting asked for,
Yeah.
verbatim. That being said, first of all, how devastating would it be if Connor saw that? Which I'm sure he's been sent it.
Well, he's probably aware of it now. Yeah.
So I'm just looking at it now. He commented on it, and he goes, "I mean, I didn't mind."
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
whatever.
enough. Fair enough. And I'm not done with this topic yet. It was an awesome twist. And let me say this, it's the show at its best. Look,
Yeah.
some people come just for the love story or whatever. I come, and Barstool Trent, it was said this last night. I was watching him, like he had a live reaction after, and he was saying, and shout out to Barstool Trent. Gary, you love him. I turned you on to him.
great,
He's
dude.
fucking so funny. And he was saying, like, it's like a Broadway play. Bring someone out from stage. Have
Yeah.
a funny twist like that. It'll be ridiculous. It's theatrical. It's transparently fake. I don't give a shit. It's electric to watch. I love it still. He needed this to get his mojo back. I think that's clear. Imagine if she said it was a 6 out of 10 kiss. Imagine if they asked like 1 to 10 and she happened to say 11, but she was like, around a 6. He needed it so bad, I think. But let me say this. That was not an 11 out of 10 kiss. It was not. I know it was not. It was not. It
He
wasn't.
had his back turned to us, so we couldn't really see a whole lot.
No, I saw enough. And I'll tell you this right now. I don't know if he's too horny. I'm not going to say that, but he's too aggressive.
He is too aggressive.
So
He
he
said
grabbed
that-
in the head again.
He's grabbing nothing
We
wrong
said
with
this is-
a little grab of the back, but
Yeah, but like you can't.
You can't be chicken peck.
can't bear
Chill
claw it.
out. Slow it down, dude. She's still gonna kiss. She's not gonna run away.
So what would you rate it?
Oh, I would probably rate it as 5 out of 10. It was a bad kiss.
Sure.
And what I'll say is he's also going. Look, I don't want to get into the anatomy of a kiss,
Sure.
but he's going straight in, which I don't love. There's zero head tilt.
Well, you might not love it, but I don't think it's physically possible to go straight. Like that's
Well, yeah,
just
nose
not possible.
clinkage.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and especially if you're like going real, you're gonna
You're
break
going
someone's
rooster.
goddamn nose. You're gonna peck her eyes
You
out,
break
dude.
your nose, dude.
Yeah, he's and you
Peck
know
her
what?
eyes out.
We're talking about fake news, Brendan. The Bachelor trying to pull the wool over her eyes and create the narrative that Connor's a good kisser. They're trying to push that, so that's fake news. He's not. He's not.
Well, you know what? We're gonna find out on Paradise. I mean, there's gonna be.
I already found out, but fair enough. I'm doing the Connor beat to James.
There's
Like,
gonna be a great enough sample size, I think, on Paradise that we'll be able
Yeah.
to confidently say and come to a conclusion. Not if he's a bad kisser. We've already established that, but I
Yeah.
think we'll be able to give him a precise rating out of 10.
Yeah, how bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
right now. I'm going 5 out of 10.
Okay.
I don't think it's good.
And
I don't
we'll-
even really think it's
We'll
possible.
we'll clip this moment. We'll see how that fluctuates.
Okay.
Come
Deal.
Paradise.
Deal.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong. There's a lid for every pot. Maybe there's someone else who's equally like they're just going to be headbutting each
Someone
other
with
all night.
no
and they're-
nose, just
they're
so
gonna
he
love-
can just like.
He needs
Like
he
Voldemort.
needs someone with a tiny schnoz. He needs someone with a real tiny schnoz. Tara seemed like she had a pretty tiny nose. Look, I don't know. And a weird situation too because he's going to Paradise. So I don't. They seem to be in touch. Like he's friendly with her on her Instagram. So I don't know. Very weird, but still electric. Then we get Andrew. I don't really have much to say on Andrew. The people loved him. I still love him. So many women in the crowd. They showed a lot of middle-aged women. A lot of women swooning over him and his story. I don't know. Feels Bachelorette. I'm feeling better and better about my prediction. I still think we get Ben Smith first, and then I think Andrew. We can lock that in. And if we do a double Bachelor season, maybe it's Michael A and Andrew, because I think Michael A is done with this show though. Unfortunately, I think he's too good for it. I think he's just walking off into the sunset. He'll meet a million women naturally, but I don't know. What were your thoughts on Andrew's final appearance this season?
Yeah, like you said, it pretty run of the mill. Like it wasn't what is anything too exciting. What I will say though is when Katie first came out, like. So I think she talked to Michael A first, or they addressed Michael A and their relationship, and then maybe moved on to Andrew.
I bet you're about to say exactly what I'm thinking, but go ahead.
Like, I like Katie a lot, but she kind of came off as like very short to me, and like like she was not really too interested in discussing any of their relationship. You know what I mean? Like she
No.
didn't really seem like she wanted to give it the time of day. Like really, we just saw Michael A like pour his heart out and was crying, and
And
you were
say
crying,
he's still interested.
and still say he's still interested. And then she comes out and she just kind of just like, I get it. She might be in a relationship now, right? Or she's moved on and going forward. But I feel like you could maybe give
a
a little
little
more
warmer?
attention or be a little warmer to
Sure.
at least Michael at the very least.
I mean, that's not quite what I was gonna say, but like very similar. My thoughts were like, hey, fair enough. These are your ex-boyfriends.
Yeah, that's
One
fair.
of them actually, and both of them rejected you.
Yeah.
Right? This is
Yeah.
a rare scenario where I guess she did send Andrew home.
Yeah, I would say
but
after one of them after he was rejected.
fair enough, but he
That's
closed
fair.
the final door. So it's
Sure.
like, okay, it's different than a regular breakup.
Sure.
And also, to me, she came across as just someone who's, and I was skeptical that she's with anyone from this season, but this kind of showed me like, well, first of all, she's definitely not with Andrew unless they're really good at hiding it. But this makes me think that she does end up with someone because
Yeah,
she seemed
it's just the way she was
extremely
acting.
satisfied and that she had all the closure she needed. She didn't need, but it was weird how little we saw her. Let's jump into. I mean, I had stuff written down about Jason's proposal, basically like, hey, I wanted more Jason Tartik. I didn't really give a shit about your proposal though.
Yeah.
And this is not from this season. I don't need that.
Yeah.
I asked for it. I received, so I guess I can't complain. I like them as a couple. But let me say this, a podcast proposal, say it real quick, that's a whack idea. I mean, not everything needs to be so goddamn public. Squishing your eternal love for your wife between a MeUndies ad seems not so romantic to me. Also, time and place. I'm worried about other couples right now. What am I getting this other couple shoved in my face for?
It felt like an Instagram post that just made its way onto the air for some reason. It's like,
yeah, it was... and a lot of cheers, which is fine. Hey, totally fair. But always good to see more Jason. But then Katie joins, and I had written down, man, like not a lot from her. Seems like she's really moved on. And we normally get more of the lead.
They usually come like at least halfway through, right? But I felt like she was up there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was honestly probably the last 20 minutes of the show that she came on. So yeah, but 10 minutes of screen time with those awful commercials.
Let me say this just popped into my head. It might be that she's in a happy relationship, or it might be that she's kind of at the point of being like,
she's
fuck
done.
This franchise.
Yeah.
Honestly, like
it literally could be either one for me.
Yeah, I gotta come for contractual reasons, but like I'm fucking done with being on TV. I'm done. Because she said a lot of stuff of like, oh, they've made me filter myself and this, which is like, yeah, that's obviously the nature of the beast, but she does seem kind of frustrated with the process. So it may have been a little bit of that. Let's jump into her brief discussion with Thomas, though. It was just such a nothing segment. He read a scripted, but I guess fair apology. Like it was obviously planned out.
All the guys were just kind of rolling their eyes like, oh, here goes Thomas.
Of course they were, right?
His smooth talking and his kind of manipulative sentiments again. But yeah, there was nothing really stand out.
Well, like you just said, I mean, like, I love how Katie basically called him a sociopath. She was like, yeah, I was talking to you and you were just smiling and saying you're robotically scripted, like going through the motions robotically of a conversation. And then as she's saying that, he's doing the exact same thing. He's like, you're right. And I would like to apologize. Like, dude, you're doing it right now. He just has zero self-awareness for someone who does come across as like very charming. Once you start to notice how weirdly robotic he is, you're like, oh my gosh, you are
Red
the
flag.
Terminator. Yeah. So I don't know. I think we see him on Paradise though. I don't know if that's confirmed. That's on me. Hopefully someone can tell me in the comment section, but I don't know. Do you guys think he shows up? Let's throw it out. If it's not confirmed yet, let's guess.
I think he should.
Yeah.
I don't know if
I'll say yeah. I think that's a producer's dream right there.
I would love to see him. I would love to see him on Paradise.
He
I mean, I'm not
feels
a
like
huge
the
fan of him.
perfect guy to come in like halfway through and just fuck everything up for everybody.
He just piss people off. Yeah.
Say what you will. Yeah. But that man's a hunk. He will steal your girl.
Yeah.
He's going to be so sweaty though. Oh my God. He's going to be so drenched there. Dear Lord. Overall, I saw a lot of people commenting online to kind of close us out. People commenting that they want a better cast for Michelle's season, but I'm conflicted. Do we? I want the crazy hunters and the cringy Connors running the show. Like, I want this eclectic mix of guys. As individuals, I actually didn't mind the cast this season. But as a group, I'm conflicted because, like, individually they were good. Together, they were so forgettable though. It was like,
Yeah.
any of the group dates that could have been funny weren't fun. Any of the conflicts weren't that electric, weren't that like heated. Any of the like some of the bloopers were funny, but as a group they were kind of a snooze fest. I don't know what your thoughts were on the cast in general.
Yeah, like you said, individually, like I really, really enjoyed everybody. I think we got a nice little mix of characters and personalities. Like you said, as a group, I don't know if they were too much into that bromance or what it was. Like, I'm not saying more conflict would have made it better, but
Yeah,
you're right. There was something just kind of lacking as the comedy part or any sort of, I don't know, vibrance in the overall whole of them.
Mhm.
yeah.
It's hard to
go
compare
ahead,
it to Claire and Tayshia's season though, because that group is like iconic now. Like those guys were like, you got like fucking Kenny,
Yeah.
Ed.
Well, it helps that
fucking
we have a personal connection with a lot
No,
of those
yeah,
guys.
but like I'm just
But
saying,
Bennett,
like, just
yes.
the bromance, like the vibe
Noah,
they brought to
like,
Noah, like
Yeah,
it was
those
just
guys,
such
there
a
was
good
just more
dynamic.
personality there. Say what you will about Bennett, but like that dude is a presence. Same with Noah. Same with Ed. Even like I would compare Ed's role to Brendan's. And Ed was 5,000
But
times
Ed was
more
like
entertaining.
a million times more entertaining.
Yeah. So, yeah, but overall, it was a fantastic season. We're gonna finish it out. I will say, out of this cast, who would you pick to be the next Bachelor? Like, there are a few options, right? We were looking towards Andrew. You could go Michael A. I saw people saying Connor B. I don't know, because they want to push that narrative of like, that would be a really funny thing of like all the girls coming out of the limo and being like, kiss me, like, oh, let's see how you are. Who would catch your eyes the next Bachelor?
Gary, what do you think?
I think, okay, I was thinking Greg, but then I think he might be like Pilot Pete. Like, I think he might be very similar kind of.
Yeah,
vibe.
that is
You know,
so
it's
good.
just like-
That is so good.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it hurts my
absolutely.
head how good of a take that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's 1,000% a Pilot Pete.
So,
1,000%.
like, if you want a good season, I think like we just have to land on Andrew S, because I think he's like the perfect, like, he could kind of like see bullshit coming from like a mile away. I don't know. He just seems like
He's
a
so
good
young
fit.
and fun too.
Michael A's, he's out. He's done. He's not coming back. He's,
I think as he should be.
Yeah.
I hope he's done.
Yeah.
I just want him to ride off into the sunset, meet a lovely woman off the show, and because there's always a market correction, right? People love you until they don't. That's the nature of being in the public eye, especially in the internet age. So I would hate to see the inevitable turn where all of a sudden people are saying whatever about Michael A. Where all of a sudden it goes so far that they're critiquing his son.
Yeah,
What
I like
sicko would do that?
Michael. I like Michael A way too much to want to see him subjected to that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
totally. All
I
right.
think Andrew's the clear choice out of this season.
That being said, oh, fellas, I almost jumped into Rose and Thorn. It's time to look at our draft picks, though. You guys ready? Do you remember who you had?
I only know
Generally.
one for sure.
All right, so
I feel like I might have had Justin. But I don't know if I do.
I'm gonna give you a rundown. I think you guys will be surprised. Gary, you drafted Michael.
Yep.
Then you doubled down on them. You went Virgin Mike next.
Not bad. They both made
bad
it pretty
choice.
far.
And then
Yeah.
I really liked this call at the time. Thomas was your wild card third pick.
Yeah.
Which I really thought was smart at the time, because that was in the middle of the sketchiness, but it seemed like he could still weasel his
It seemed
way
like
out.
he could have weaseled in. Yeah.
Well, it seemed like she loved him then too.
Yeah.
Carson, you went Greg, Justin, and Andrew. So
Wow.
you have two.
Holy.
You have
That's
two
crazy.
left.
I didn't think I had Greg. I thought you had
Yeah,
Greg.
No.
Oh,
Damn.
Now I went.
Damn,
I
that's-
can't believe I did this. I went Connor B,
Blake.
Blake, and James. I went James a wild card. I had no idea who to get for that one, but Connor B, I felt good about. Blake Moynes, he wasn't on the show yet when I drafted him.
We knew he was coming.
We knew he was coming. I thought he was going to go far, and so it's down to you and me, Coop. I mean,
Damn.
Gary,
Damn.
you were going to be there, man, and it would.
I
have
had
been
a couple power.
the three
They
of
were.
us. Like Justin would have been gone, and it would have
Yeah.
been Greg, Michael A, and Blake, and it would have been a showdown
Yeah.
had he stayed in. Yeah.
I
yeah.
wish, dude. That would have
That's
been
too bad.
wild.
I have 2 horses in the race right now, but I want I want David's to win.
You want mine? Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, fellas, let's jump into our thorn and our rose, our highlight and low light of the episode. We're cutting the thorn. We want that off. We get that out here. Rose is what we love the most. I'm going to start with producer Gary. If you're ready to roll, let's start negative. We're going to end it positive. Hit us with your thorn of the episode. And if you really want to, because it's mental law, because next week is the finale, you can kind of do something that's maybe encompassing of the season too. Go wherever you want with it. A bit more flexibility this week.
My thorn's gonna go because I feel like it's the only way. It's the only fitting way to end this season off is just to give it to Karl, because he's just the thorn in this fucking season.
I like it.
And he fucking stop giving this guy a platform. I know he's a motivational speaker, but he shouldn't be. That's for fucking sure.
I went on his page yesterday too.
Oh my god, dude!
Horrible, dude.
Every time he speaks, it's just the worst.
Has anybody here ever made a mistake?
Yeah.
My favorite part about that is it got so awkward that Brendan just felt the need to also stand up. He's like, "Fine, I need to get up and just say some shit."
We just gotta fight. There's the only way to save this situation for TV right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was fucking
applauding you, Gary. My rose is you picking Karl as your thorn. How about you, Carson? What you got?
My thorn goes out to the entire state of New Mexico. What a sad, desolate place. Like, how can anybody expect to find love there? Like, that's brutal.
Yeah.
That is actually brutal. Every date
She didn't stand a chance.
was just terrible. Like tumbleweeds and camping in a soaked up lake.
Like a sewage center. Yeah. Beautiful things go to die in New Mexico. Yeah. That's where everything just shrivels up and burns. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, dear Lord. Yeah, we had our critiques. We said it was a scene out of I Am Legend. Looked like the new Fallout game. Looked like all sorts of garbage. It looked like fucking Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah, next date we're gonna fight a rival clan. All right, that's a great one. Mine, unfortunately I have the guys as a group, the crop of guys as a group. And last one, similar to Karl, Gary, encompasses the season. Carnaby's kissing. Yeah. I'm out, dude. Sure. We'll see. I'm excited to see it on Paradise. Like there's no break. We will see it right away. I don't feel good about it. Not good about it. And also I have to go down. I wouldn't want to critique him anymore. There's no need. But the fact that they tried to pull the wool over our eyes, you got to be like, no, he's not a good kisser. Chop that narrative down. All right, Gary, what was your highlight though? Let's little positive twist.
If we want to go all encompassing, I'm thinking I want to give it to Michael A.
That's mine. Yeah.
I wish we could see more of him, but I also don't want to see more of him at the same time. Like it's just so tough, and to relive his story too, through the near the end of the episode was just, I don't know, man. I cried every time. Every time we had to relive his story, man, brought a tear to my eye.
Oh man,
just so sad.
You had to hydrate before you.
Not only did they do that, but they said goodbye to him at the beginning, and then they did they showed his whole story, and then they said goodbye to him again.
How many times did you cry this episode?
At least 6. At least.
Do you have a lot of electrolytes beside you? A lot of fluids?
None. I was dehydrated completely.
Holy smokes. And you were like, this is my sacrifice to Michael A. This is how much I love him, as I'm willing to just dehydrate my body of tears. Okay. Yeah. Very committed. I respect it. Coop, what you got?
Yeah, I was going to go with Michael A. It's just that I'm not going to. I'll switch it. But just like, in recent memory, I can't remember crying at an episode of The Bachelor, Bachelorette, or Paradise.
A lot of tears. A lot of tears from you. Okay.
I'm not even kidding you. Like, we were blessed with Michael A. What a gem. And like what you said,
gem, yeah. He got me crying once. I didn't feel it this episode as much.
Fair enough.
But no, I'd say fair enough in turn.
I want to see this guy forever, but I never want to see him on live television again. Like, I just want the best for him, and he hit me with so many one-liners that were just full of wisdom and full of love that I just
and some whimsy as well. That blooper at the end was hilarious. That was the first time where we actually saw him like with some Katie. I thought he was very funny talking about his libido, and
that was hilarious. Like it was
very funny.
So, and that like wrapped it all up for me. Anyways, so that's kind of my side rose. My actual rose, I think is, I don't know if I can do this, but it's just the season as a whole. I think
You can
You
do
can.
it. There's no
we've,
rules.
we've said this for a few weeks now, and we were skeptical going into the season. We said, oh, the cast kind of looks half-assed, or how great of a Bachelorette is Katie going to be? But I think episode 1 and episode 2 and episode 3, we just kept getting reminded that, you know what, this is actually a season that has a little bit of everything that we like from this franchise, right?
Yeah.
It had drama. It wasn't that kind of lingering drama that we saw from Queen Victoria last
It
season.
wasn't too heavy either.
And it wasn't too heavy, right?
Reality
It was
TV,
light.
maybe.
Yeah.
And it moved on every week, right? There's something new on the go.
Yeah.
And we talked about this last week as well. We're left now with, the overall crux of what the show is, right? We're left with a tough decision of what was 4, now 3 great guys. And all that drama is kind of, all that fat was trimmed, and that's out of the way. And now it's down to like the real decision.
Look, I love Justin. We'll see. I think it's a 2-man race.
I
it's a
think it's a
2-man
2-man race as well.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to call too early, because clearly I have no fucking idea. I did not see him going
If
this
Justin
far.
wins, that might ruin the season for me. I'm gonna be.
I
completely
won't
honest.
know. I won't know the show. Like, I'll be like, okay, you know what? Hands up. I don't know if I can recap. I don't know if I'm an authority on this show anymore, because right now I do feel like I know.
We'd have to
this shit.
retire the podcast.
Yeah.
because-
What I will say though is,
Yeah.
like, look, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but like, I might like fucking wrap this thing up with 2 draft picks in a row. Like, we're critiquing my NBA picks. I may go back to back here, fellas.
I don't know.
with some
I
early
might,
draft.
I might
Hey,
steal
you've
it.
got the odds. You've got
Yeah,
the
I do.
odds. Yeah. But we'll see. Okay, I'm gonna hit you with 3 real quick roses. First one, Tasha and Caitlin holding it down. This was their big hosting debut. I thought they really killed it. Tasha with the huge line of introducing the bloopers. That's a Chris Harrison special. She took that on. I thought she nailed it. You could kind of hear the weight of it. I know it sounds silly, but people wait for that all season long, and she fucking nailed it. So shout out to them. Second one, mentioned it earlier, Connor alphaing James. That was amazing. Just so dismissive. And James was like,
Yep.
oh, what?
Oh, I didn't know you
Holy
had that in you,
shit."
little man.
Yeah. This kitty's got claws. This cat is indeed a tiger, to quote Andrew S. So I love that. My last one. Speaking of James, I'm just I'll throw James the child a bone, because I guess supposedly I was a little harsh on him. No, I think the listeners, I think I'm in the minority here. I think people are gonna side with the nice child who lost his mom, who misses his dad, and gonna go on the record saying he does miss his dad, but still, that was a guilt trip, James, and you know it. Come on the pod and discuss. But I'm giving him my rose just because a beautiful boy does need to see his dad. Dear Lord, what a line, man! And that's the truth. All
You
right,
think he'll
fellas.
pull that up in like a couple years? Like he's like 14 and his dad's like been away for a week. He's like, Daddy doesn't want to see
Maybe
James.
Dad didn't want to see me. Pull a David and his dad
Yeah,
be
pull
like, you know
David.
what, dude? I left a goddamn fiance. Okay, which I'm happy to do. I love you, but you get to use that once, and you used it. Yeah, and you used it well. Let me tell you. But you're done. You're done with that line. All right, fellas. Now, before we close out, we don't even hit the transition music or anything, Gary. Let's mention NBA real quick. The season has ended. First of all, let me congratulate the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't want to speak for anyone else on the podcast. I will say I doubted them. I'm happy to be wrong. The city deserves a championship. Giannis deserves a championship and finals MVP. What an all-time performance. Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday, everyone down the line contributed, and what a fantastic finals, fantastic playoffs, great season, and the right team won the championship. So the highest congratulations to them. That being said, we will be retiring. I'm never going to say never, I suppose, but the NBA section of the podcast, it will likely not be returning. I'll say this. It will not be returning next season because we have so much Bachelor content. And that's the nature of the beast. We started this as an NBA podcast. We still love it. We're still going to watch religiously. It's just, it's a lot of work, a ton of work. At some point, it's just diminishing returns. Is quite honestly, most of our audience loves The Bachelor, and we do have NBA listeners, and it pains me to disappoint them, but we'll always have content for you. It's just we're gonna take a break for at least one season because we got a ton of Bachelor stuff that we are just so excited about, and so same amount of content, just no NBA. Fellas, do you have any? Gary, you're just really the producer on that end of the podcast. You know, a big NBA guy. But Carson, any final thoughts as we close out because that's really what this podcast started as.
Well, that's just it. I mean, rest in peace to the NBA segment. Like you said, we started this a couple of years ago now as an NBA podcast that covered a little bit of a Bachelor in Paradise on the side.
Yeah.
And right, the roles have kind of reversed now to the point where it's just going to be Bachelor. You know what? Like you said, that's the nature of the beast. That's completely okay.
That's just evolving.
Two things that we're passionate about. And yeah, that's just how we're evolving.
Yeah, and that's totally you're so right. And we love the NBA and you never, and what I will say is it was a great segment. Our NBA, like I would honestly I'm not trying to pat ourselves on the back. I would put it up against a lot of other NBA podcasts. Let me tell you that a lot of work went into it. I know we have a lot of Bachelor exclusive listeners, but I don't think it's crazy if in 5, 6, 7 years time, life is really long, we're doing a professional NBA podcast at some point for a very small amount of money. You never know. But for now,
I think one of the things we've prided ourselves on, we gave attention to teams and to players and to stories throughout the NBA that wasn't necessarily in the mainstream media, right? We tried
1,000%.
to really circulate through the different teams and the different games, so we're not repeating too much content.
We were talking Memphis. We were talking your Jazz before they were the Jazz this season. We were talking small markets, big markets, tiny transactions. We talked about stuff that wasn't a part of a lot of major podcasts rundown. And I know we had some fans of niche teams that really appreciated that. So again, thank you to our NBA listeners and to Bachelor people. Look, we love this.
Yeah,
this is not
good news for you
just because it's popular.
More content.
We're doing
more
it because
focus.
we love this show too. So I will say, I forgot to say it at the start of the episode, but rate, review, subscribe. We keep growing every week. We appreciate you. Share with friends. Hey, look, if you're listening to The Bachelor, we got a whole new season. Share with your friends. Let's all watch together. I want to hear your thoughts. You can hear our thoughts. Give us your feedback. Do you also think James is an industry plant? Let me know.
And if you subscribe on YouTube, David will send you a personalized text message. Every account, every time, every single time. There's no cap.
Every time. Yeah, that's why I do it, Gary.
matter.
Every time we get a subscriber, I text Gary about it, one by one. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Rate, review, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thanks so much for listening. Producer Gary, close us out. Remember,
A wet bird never flies at night.
thank you and peace.